and that the world had changed from that point. So just to show you, to all of you, especially those of you who come up with ideas which are not very acceptable, ideas which many, many people don't like, stick to these ideas. Go on with those if you're sure they're very, very right. Even if your friends, your peer, even your own family, the testers, don't like it. Eventually, if you stick to it and you think it's right, it will be appreciated. And you may even get a lifetime achievement. So in a way, I want to say that I really appreciate the field much more than I ever did. I think the field reached some kind of maturity, that it's ready to look in its own face and kind of say, maybe testing is not all about good things only. There are other aspects, and I think this really is a nice thing, and I sometimes compare it to even living in Israel. I wish we would be in a situation in Israel, I often think, that we'll be able to face the difficult things and the hardships and the consequences of what's going on there politically. So I think just looking at things in the eyes, thinking about all the dimensions, it's very much a level of maturity of a field, of a nation, of people, of ourselves. So I think that is something that gave me a lot of honor to really hear that this award was really an honor to me. And then I cannot not say that, not only because I was asked by so many other of my own kind to say, but also because I feel so, is I think we've gone a long way, baby, for women. There's no question that this field has been from day one dominated by lots of very good men, very fun men, but mostly men. And I think it's all of us were feeling a bit kind of marginalized for a long time in this field, kind of not being recognized in some way. Of course, that should never come, I think, in the account of any of our accomplishments. But we think that when we know that there are many accomplished women right here in this room, on the stage, and everywhere else. And I feel very honored to be really the first woman after a large number of men to be one after the other to be granted this award. And I think it's very, very important for all of us. So when I mentioned to somebody that it's very good, everybody says, you know, congratulations, it's not just for me, for all other women. I say it's all for all the women in the world, Micheline, right? And Micheline said, wait a minute. So Micheline said, don't say that, don't say that. If I say, you'd say for all women in the world, it may be another 20 years before the next one gets it. So I hope it will not be in that situation, and I hope this is just an opening step, and we will continue with that for a long time, because I think, more than anything else, I think that women have a lot to offer in terms of somehow a different way of looking at testing. Maybe it's not that different, but perhaps on some level it is, and that area should be evaluated, and I'll talk about it perhaps more tomorrow. And then I want to go to the next phase, which is really to thank like my really, really close people around. And there's no way I can continue with this evening without the inspiration to my writings, to my thinking about testing, to seeing it from close. And these are my two lovely daughters, Daphna and Orlee. Single mother, you learn to appreciate your children because you get a lot from them. And specifically, Daphna, who unfortunately couldn't make it this time, she was planning to be here. She could make it because she herself, she's a professor of neuroscience at Columbia University. And she's having her own presentation in Montreal in the conference tomorrow, so she couldn't make it. And of course, many of you know about Orlee, my little younger daughter who died at the age of 25 in a car accident in New York. And she was so influential on my life in conversation, in ideas, in just seeing her own tests. She's the one who said, when I talk about the trainer for a test, and she would say, I would say, the answer is not, it's B, not A. She said, of course I know it's B, but I know very well that the teacher wants us to write C or A or whatever. So it was right away from the beginning, I could see through her work how life was so much, how tests were so much of a game that you needed to know the rules for. So both of them are here with me, obviously, and in fact, Orlee is with me every day, and Daphne, obviously. And I want to mention, it's very, very important for me, for all of you, and to share this thing with you in this occasion. And of course, all the others, all my good friends, some of them are not here, like Tim and Merit Swain and Bernard Spolsky. They are around, but they are not here. I mean, I don't want you to think that they're somewhere else, really, as we talked about, but Bernard was here this afternoon, as we all know. And many other people in the field, Mary McWorthy already mentioned, many other people who've been really inspiration and good friends and supporters. And the last, perhaps, is the one thing that I want to mention is people are sitting here. Some of whom you may not know, but in the Barcelona Ante 2001. This was a couple of months, or 7, maybe more than a couple, 7 or 8 months after Orlee died. It was June. And I thought the world is finished. I would never be able to write, to work, to think, to laugh. And some of the people who are sitting here, whether it's Linda and Anne Lazarton and Anthony Conan and Jim Papura, were sitting together in a table, in a round table in Hotel Majestic in Barcelona. And they forced me to laugh. They made so many jokes and so many funny things that I had to laugh at the end. And in many ways, this kind of gave me a new opening, a permission to laugh, permission to come back to life, participate, write, work, and all the wonderful things I like to do. Because life is a struggle in that way every day. And people around me, and at that very famous table in Barcelona, was to a large extent an opening and a permission to continue with life that I'll never forget. So I want to thank all of you and everybody who is here, whom I really love dearly. And I hope to continue with you for a long, long time. And I so much appreciate your recognition of what I do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, thank you.